Hello YouTube, this is Ben Gessel. How's it going? So yes, just got a haircut. Needed a haircut. I know. Anyway, it's Sunday. It's only about 4:50, and of course it's almost pitch. It's very very dark outside. It's only late November, and we're just having really dark. I mean, it's just been very dark this entire month. Me personally, I tend to do okay when it gets dark most of the time in the day, but I do better than some. I think I'll put it that way. Although sometimes I notice that when it's dark a whole lot, um, maybe I wouldn't say I'm maybe a little bit more depressed, a little sadder than usual, but it's not necessarily that I'm sadder. I just have more peculiar thoughts. I think that's the best way of putting it. So sometimes it's actually a good thing if you're imaginative, if you're a composer. But my thought processes sometimes tend to be a little bit less orthodox. In general, I have these trains of thought a lot of times that are a lot different than most other folks, or they go down these less traveled paths in a free association kind of way, or in a kind of a torrent of questions of thoughts, that sort of thing, that are emotional. And again, when it's dark like this, for someone like myself, the nature of those thoughts can be, we'll just say, sometimes they're more sad. Sometimes, very very rarely are they angry. It's not really angry. No. It's more, but oftentimes they're a bit more. I think there's a kind of visual, or I guess you could say the visual to the, I don't know, it's maybe spiritual, but kind of it's a kind of a I don't know. The dark has a relaxing quality to it. I'm getting a little bit of a train of thought here, a different train of thought that I want to talk about. But anyway, so more on all that a little bit here in a little bit, but. Basically, with this video, I'm talking a bit more about a grocery store that I've been become a member of. And I've kind of resisted becoming a member of any grocery store in the past. But in this case, I thought it would be worth it. Hopefully I haven't talked about this very much in the past. But so this is a bit more in-depth, kind of going into this store. PCC Natural Markets. Pacific, I'm not sure what this PCC stands for. I started in Seattle. So this is kind of a Puget Sound, or I'd say more of a North Puget Sound thing, somewhat. So PCC Natural Markets is what this video is all about. And I think today make quite a few videos, amongst other things I'm going to do. But basically, okay, so you guys probably know a lot about Trader Joe's already. And it's owned by a company like Aldi in Germany and like that, and it's kind of a lower prices store, but you still get great quality things and hard to find things and snack foods, that sort of thing. And you know about Whole Foods and how they've had a little bit higher prices for some things, and sometimes they just charge you too much, and they've got in trouble with that whole thing. And Amazon's now has a deal with Whole Foods to kind of keep prices a little lower, and they still have a lot of good stuff, but maybe some things aren't so great, but mostly good things. So Whole Foods is great. You know what, you guys? I'm sure you guys know about a lot of those kinds of stores already. And again, this is a local store, so in Tacoma, I think they have Metropolitan Market. Seattle's, I think, PCC, and there's some other ones that are kind of like that. Wajumaya's, of course, would be Asian specialty store in Seattle, Bellevue, and a few other locations. There's other stores like Ranch 99 that are great, and up here. But yeah, with PCC, it's what idea is that well, I mentioned a few things about this before. They don't have gigantic stores, but what they don't have everything that you possibly imagine. I'll mention the things that they do have again, and I go much more in detail with what they do have what they're really good at, and what their good prices are. But let's just start first off with their deli and their bakery. And in this area, I still haven't had a lot of experience with these guys. Just keep in mind, their workers are often very good, but not all of them are amazingly just awesome. And it's the same deal with Whole Foods. But both stores try to get the best workers, but you're going to sometimes come across some not so great customer service, and it just happens. I think that for shoppers, it's to everyone. I'm sometimes I wouldn't say I'm amused, but I'm a little bit like I'm rubbing my chin a little bit, like what? When you have shoppers that expect the grocery store to always have sky-high customer service. And these stores are they're hiring people that are applying varying abilities in that arena. And we all have things that happen in our lives that make us more grumpy or more emotional and hard to... Customers sometimes... I think customers have unrealistic expectations about people and customer service. A lot of times I think it's unrealistic because as humans, we're emotional beings. And hey, if you're a very demanding customer and you're asking very difficult questions, at that rare moment, you could have some people that snap. I personally think that humanity, because we're talking about shoppers, we're talking about all of humanity, including workers, of course. We all need to eat. So we all need to kind of, some of us in particular, need to get a little bit more of a keener idea as to not only what's good customer service, but also give these people some slack. Give retail workers and workers in general, anybody with a stressful job, cut them some more slack. And with retail workers, if someone's having a bad day, don't take it out on the whole company. Just realize they're having a bad day and figure out some things yourself. That being said, your deli and your bakery, you're going to have some good folks, and you're going to have a few people here and there not going to be so good. And that has nothing to do with PCC versus Whole Foods versus Trader Joe's versus anybody else. It's just the nature of the beast, okay? So, again, I'm kind of pointing the finger at Yelp folks, right? These insane people doesn't matter how old you are. You can have some ridiculous people that are in their 70s and 80s, all the way down to barely out of college, they're shopping for themselves, or even, gosh, I don't know. Everybody across the board. I've seen this. I didn't want to get into this too much, but it seems like with a store like PCC, yes, they have very good, high quality food, but that doesn't necessarily mean. Look, it doesn't matter if it's Larry's Market in Redmond. I don't know. It doesn't matter if it's the best grocery chains like Wegmans and Northeast. It doesn't matter what the store is. Yes, you do have very high customer service but it's never going to be 100% of the time. You're always going to have this human element, and we should all cut people some slack because they're all human, and let people be themselves. If they're going through a divorce, let them understand someone's going through a divorce. If you're asking about some obscure item, and they're in the middle of trying to get some food out there, trying to stock stuff, and they're wrestling with their own thoughts, let them wrestle with their own thoughts without ripping them to shreds. I'm going off a tangent here, but I think this is important to mention. Okay. Yes, PCC, Central Market, Whole Foods, Trader. These are some of the better stores up here in the north part of Seattle, north of Seattle up to Everett. Don't be too hard on the workers. Okay, so deli and bakery. It's great food. It's very wholesome, organic food. Certainly in PCC. I haven't had any bad food yet. I've had their hot stuff once. I can't say still as much about those guys, but they're very, very helpful. I think this one comment I have has more to do with both Whole Foods and PCC. So when you get healthier, natural food, when it comes to things like dairy, especially cheese, and cheese in their hot foods, the smell of cheese is going to be very dominant. It's a stronger smell, like peppers or curry or garlic or something, and pizza, fried foods. You're gonna smell that cheese, right? For me, I don't like cheese, so I am trying to downplay this a little bit because some people out there love the smell of sharper cheeses or hot cheese. But just be aware of the fact that when you might walk past certain areas in the hot foods area of PCC, you're gonna smell some cheese. Okay, just if you don't like cheese, just keep it in mind, right? Let the cheese people have their cheese. But the other foods are great. That being said, you have like the similar kind of boxes that Whole Foods uses. It's a little different than PC. It's a little different with PCC. I always, if I'm not sure, I'm not sure if I'm going to get hot food first or shop first. If you're hungry and you want to get something, recommendation. This goes without saying probably, but go ahead and get your food that you're going to eat first. Pay for it first. Go sit down and eat it first, and then come back. Don't worry about getting a shopping cart. Let them take care of the shopping cart. Let the other workers, the the clerks basically do their thing to kind of keep the store tidy. If it doesn't have anything in there, eat your food, then go back for shopping cart afterwards. I think that tends to work out better than having some food in your shopping cart that hasn't been paid for. And I don't think you'd get too much freezer stuff. I mean, I don't know. Some people, everybody's a little different, but if you have a bunch of food that has been paid for and you're sitting down and you eat, I have never done this with PCC, but if you get food at PCC, you sit down and eat it. I don't know what their policy is exactly, but I wouldn't recommend it. I haven't done it at Whole Foods. I've always paid for stuff before I eat it. They may have a policy regarding that. I think in general though, it's better to get your hot food, pay for it, then eat it, then go shopping. That's all across the board. I would just recommend doing that. I try to, and it's easy to, you think, oh, I gotta get my shopping done. Oh, I'm really hungry. Oh, I think a lot of folks tend to be pretty understanding of that, so long as you're going to pay for everything. The one thing that nobody wants to do, or nobody wants to find out, is that you paid for a bunch of drinks and some food, you eat it, you throw stuff away. Then you go back, it's like, are you shoplifting? And then you think, oh, I was supposed to pay for that. Oh, I'm going to go dig it out of the trash. Okay, maybe some of this doesn't need to be said, but I bet you there's people out there that have done that before. And, you could say, oh, I got this and that and this and that, but, there's no way of them knowing, oh, gosh, I'm glad I haven't done this before. There's no way of them knowing how much of it you got, so they weigh it before you eat it. You might have a worker that comes up to somebody and says, can you pay for that before you eat? Thanks. I don't know what they do. I wish I had more information for you guys. But just don't, if you have ever had a tendency, try not to do that, okay? Trust me. It's just, you just pay for your food before you eat it. All right, that being all said, I'm sorry, going on all these tangents. Appreciate you staying with me here. So, the fruit section of the produce. I found there's, of course, in the summer you're going to find all kinds of great stuff. Summer is the season for fruit, berries. But you're going to, on other months, you're going to have a fair bit of variety. It's true. But the PCC tries to have very local stuff going on. So with PCC being Northwest market, you're getting a lot of apples, right? Apples, about pears, cherries, and berries in the summer, of course. But if you get anything else, I mean, you have grapes. Yeah, you can have some grapes. We can probably go to Oregon here a little bit. I don't know if California's too far. Let's get a little bit farther. But yeah, for some things like avocados and stuff. But I mean, a lot of our fruits are going to be anything that grows in the Northwest, in Canada, Oregon, Idaho, all pretty good. California is probably our go-to place for warmer stuff, for PCC. But yeah, you're just not going to have as much variety in some respects at PCC as compared to other stores, depending on the season. But the quality of what you're going to get at PCC you're going to get some really good stuff. And just keep in mind, if something is organic and natural, you're going to have like sometimes brown spots, and that doesn't mean anything. You just carve that, just take that part out. But you're going to get very, very high quality. You're going to feel everything is going to be very nutritious. Extra potassium, extra folic acid, extra vitamin C. with the organics and with the just better raised stuff. And so the fruit section is great. I wouldn't go there and expect it to be Owajamayas. Owajamayas would have more tropical fruits or Japanese stuff or Korean, Chinese fruits, and Southeast Asian, of course, in season. Try to get what they can get. Mangosteens and passion fruit and all that stuff. If you get tropical fruit at PCC, don't expect it to be spectacular. It'll probably be pretty good, but it won't be amazing like Owajamayas. That's some of that maybe should be common knowledge. Just saying this, whatever. So vegetables, I think, tend to even have a little bit more of the upper hand at PCC, depending on the season, than fruits, because of course, we just in temperate climates, in addition to apples and pears and berries and I don't know, a few other things. Plums. We're not quite as versatile with variety of fruit compared to more southern or warmer climates. Depending on, we have a lot of berries and things in season. We have cranberries, but with cranberries, you have to. I don't know. Yeah, I suppose you could eat them raw. That's pretty astringent, pretty sour. Yeah, so they're healthy for you, of course. And we have blueberries and things. But we're going to have a lot of really high quality vegetables. There's a lot of vegetables that that Washington farmers grow a lot of vegetables. And Washington, Oregon, Idaho, California, British Columbia, you're going to have a lot of celery, you're going to have a lot of leeks, you're going to have a lot of onions. Onions, oh my gosh, all kinds of onions, all kinds of garlic. I don't know, all kinds of green vegetables, spinach, but maybe some that's a little bit more southern. But anything, you're going to be very, very happy with the quality vegetables. The vegetables they have at PCC are as good, if not sometimes even better. Well, the Whole Foods has some really good quality vegetables, don't get me wrong, and they have watercress, but it's going to be very comparable, I think. And you might find that the prices of the vegetables, in particular, at PCC are going to be probably a bit lower. And the fruit prices will also be comparable to a little bit lower as well. Not too much lower than Whole Foods, but I think because if you're a member, you get 10% discount once a month. And then in November and December, you get that discount twice a month. And then on the 15th, you get like a 5% discount, although that's just the 15th and it's not, I don't know, they have a little deal there. But I wanted to mention more member benefits later, but the main benefit for being a member at PCC is that you get discounts, I think, because they have a cooking thing that you can do, and they have other things, but they're all kind of additionally. You might not have time to go to their cooking demonstrations, but it's a free cooking class. It's a nice thing. I think the cooking thing isn't just for moms, but I know that particularly moms are probably one of their main sources. It's probably something that moms really like. Free cooking classes. Why not? Absolutely. The rest of us, sometimes yes and no. We get other kinds of folks that go to these kind of classes, but I'm just letting you know that if you are hey mom, I'm not just saying you don't have to be middle-aged, right? But if you're a mom and you want to cook more with organic food and vegetables and fruits and healthy things, and you need some more ideas, if you're in the Seattle area, North Seattle, just check out PCC Natural Markets, consider becoming a member, and consider going maybe to one of the cooking classes. And of course, and I'm sure you've heard this before, we all tend to be really, food can be sensitive, or we tend to be very resistant, maybe, to trying new foods, or someone saying, you should try this, that's that. Sometimes many of us want to say, nope, I'm eating what I'm eating. And I'm the same way. But I think a cooking class, I know I could do it if I just had more energy time, right? But, I bet you that they probably cover a variety of different foods in these cooking classes. And then probably many of the foods they talk about are foods that you already eat. Maybe just different ways of cooking things, or things more efficient ways of cooking things, tastier ways of cooking things. Like, how do you make apple cider? Have you ever made apple cider? I bet you they probably have apple cider classes, but they had them in the fall. You're probably pretty familiar with a lot of the ingredients that, cinnamon, cloves, apple, right? But maybe there's just a technique that they might suggest that you never know what you might expect. They might do more pasta, salads, cooking meat better, when to, how to marinate things better, all that stuff. Okay, so talk about the fruits, talk about vegetables. These, in my opinion, when it comes to PCC Natural Markets, these are the best two departments. The deli and their bakery, I'm sure they're fine. but I still haven't had them enough to really give a good recommendation on them. But you could do worse. I mean, I might rate Central Market as far as maybe what I've experienced. I might rate their customer service slightly higher, but really it's. I mean, and of course, I mean, I've been very impressed with customer service in the meat and produce section, in pretty much all the sections at Central Market up in Mill Creek. But you have to wonder. I don't know. I mean, it's pretty insane how high the customer service is. Or I'm like I feel like I am a guest at this court, but I don't know if I really want. I mean, it's great to feel that way, but I don't really need that level of customer service. It's nice to experience, but I'm like, it's not the most important thing to me, so long as someone isn't yelling at me for some reason, for something I didn't do. I mean, there's some things I wouldn't like, but I'm not quite as finicky about that kind of thing as some people. You have some old folks up at Mill Creek that get really stupid. So yeah, Mill Creek anyway. So maybe that's the I demand that level of customer service. It's just let the people be weird if they want to be weird. Okay, so anyway, the frozen section. So this is what I'm getting into some other sections now. So I'm still highly recommending the produce section at PCC. Amazing. Just don't expect there to be like 30 different kinds of fruits. If anything, they could probably have several kinds of apples, and just understand that this is a Western Washington type of place, or Washington. So it's not like Florida. They're not going to have. I mean, we still have oranges, but those oranges are not going to be quite as good tasting as the apples, right? Okay, so it's coming from California, right? A lot of times. So, okay, so the frozen section. Just keep in mind with PCC, their whole idea is also big emphasis on health. So there's probably a lot of things they're not going to have. I can't find the Monterey chimichangas that I would like, almost like a junk. They're not junk food for me, but I mean it's not, But it's not. It's a little more processed, right? And I love the chimichangas that they have at these regular stores, QFC, Safeway, Albertsons, right? They're not going to have those things at PCC. So look for your generic, conventional, gluten, your processed frozen foods. Look for those things elsewhere. Don't go to PCC expecting to find a whole lot of stuff there. They're going to have stuff like tacos and burritos definitely, and other, we'll say, Mexican American, like fat, or other filling breakfast or other frozen things that are like hot. You put them in the microwave. But they're going to be a lot healthier, and they're probably going to be a little bit more expensive, right? So, but what they do have, I mean, they have. So I'm getting into frozen vegetables here. I wish that the PCC had a wider variety of frozen organic vegetables. They have, for instance, there's vegetables they have at Trader Joe's that are organic. It's been a while since I've been to Trader Joe's, but I think Trader Joe's has peas, they have broccoli. I wish I can't. But there's some things that Trader Joe's doesn't have a whole lot of organics. I mean, they do, but it's almost like a 1/3 organics, 2/3 everything else. They have some GMO-free stuff, but Trader Joe's, even in their frozen veggies section in that one aisle, doesn't always have all the organic varieties you want. Whole Foods has probably a little bit wider variety of frozen vegetables that are organic. But what impressed me about Trader Joe's is what they do have, even if it's not quite as wide a variety as Whole Foods in terms of the frozen vegetables, what they do have is that the organic vegetables are, I'd say some of them are a little bit higher priced, but they might be even higher quality than Whole Foods. I mean, I've sensed that when I've had them, when I've eaten them, I mean, it's like going to a farmer's market. You just freeze them. I mean, it's even fresher. The fresher, more local. You're gonna get more. I think a little bit more nutrients still. But again, I would like to see a wider variety of vegetables in the frozen section at PCC. That being said, you're gonna get fresh vegetables, even though they go bad, right? You're gonna get a wide variety of fresh vegetables, a pretty wide variety. I've seen really good leeks at PCC. I've seen celery, bok choy, Swiss chard. I mean, they have. Actually, here's the thing. At PCC though, they do have certain varieties of vegetables that they have frozen that you can't find anywhere else. Like, I don't know, beets and Swiss chard, and I didn't see collard greens, but anyway, you're gonna find some stuff that's frozen in the vegetable section that you can't find in other places. And if you want it, that's to last a while, but you like that kind of vegetable, it's really, it's worth checking out. It's really good. Now, okay, so going on to some other kinds of departments here. With the grocery stuff, I've seen, I mean, they have, well, actually, I went back to their kind of cold refrigerated section. They have a lot of kombucha. I don't drink kombucha. They have a lot of healthier waters or alkalized waters. I think that's kind of a big thing right now, alkalized water. And I think in general, I bet you that the health benefits of drinking alkalized water are, the question is it worth the cost? I think in general, what I tend to do is I'll buy a smart water. A lot of times, sometimes it's not, sometimes it's at 7-Eleven. But I'll buy a smart water at PCC is kind of ideal. They maybe have a little bit more affordable prices. The prices of a smart water isn't sky high, but there's a company in Bothell that makes these alkalized waters, and the bottle itself is bigger and it costs a fair bit, but again, they give you more. But it's fairly alkalized. It's 9.5 pH. From what I know about the whole pH thing, I bet you that drinking that kind of water on a fairly consistent basis, or you have some of it, it's going to have some health benefits in the long run. Countering the acidic, or when food comes into your system, whether it's acidic or not, coming in, beforehand. And some foods tend to have an acidic effect on our body, like the acid reflux thing. So does fried foods and things. When you drink alkalized water, it should help with that whole thing. It's like Tums, but that's why Tums helps with the upset stomach. It's because it has an alkalizing effect, right? So PCC has a lot of these kinds of things, waters. It's worth checking out, as well as I think they have some vitamin waters. I'm not sure if they have this wide of variety, maybe at Central Market. Central Market, of course, has a lot of the Asian things and seasonings and spices, Chinese in particular, Indian as well, Southeast Asian. And Whole Foods has, I think, a wide variety of spices that maybe are more Indian, or just spices in general. There's a huge variety there. But you can find a lot of those spices if you go to specialty stores anyway. You don't need to go to Whole Foods. I just have to go to them sometimes. So again, at PCC, you're going to find, if you're into the coffee tea thing, you're going to have lots of tea, sure. And certainly cheese and wine. I don't drink wine. I don't eat cheese, so you're going to have some of that too. But there's some bulk food items. Again, I haven't had too much of that stuff. I haven't checked out the prices too much. I wish I could tell you more, but at least know that they do have them. If you want to plan, if you get a lot of that stuff, you can plan to be a member of PCC. They have that stuff. Definitely a variety of that kind of stuff. Cocoa. There's cereals. Just keep this in mind. With regard to all these healthier stores, right, and the cereals they carry, part of me just thinks Trader Joe's still has the advantage there. And anything that's a grocery item, anything that's not refrigerated, Trader Joe's is going to be a really good bet, good place to go to get those things still. To get the cheaper cost, to get the organic rice, to get the organic corn, cereal, to get your nuts and seeds and that sort of thing. But if you want to get that stuff at PCC or whatever, the cereal. What I've seen as far as prices and their selections and things, just be prepared to spend for a good box of cereal. If you're going to buy a bunch of cornflakes or a rice cereal, it's a pretty good sized box. Just be prepared to spend a bit on that organic, non-GMO stuff at PCC. I wouldn't say it's the best deal there, but it could be worse. But I've never spent $8 on. I'll just get the plastic rice thing. It's maybe not too big, but it costs $2. I mean, it's organic and things. I'll get that. But basically, in general, cereal. I wouldn't go to PCC for cereal. I'll just put it that way for you really economical shoppers. It's a Trader Joe's thing, I think. Probably the same thing would apply to nuts, I think, as well as, yeah, again, just anything dry, any grocery item that's you'd find in your regular kind of shelves. I haven't checked up their canned things as much. I've been at Whole Foods again, for a while, and whenever you buy anything canned, I mean, the nuts is sky high prices at Whole Foods. That's what, I mentioned that before. Beans are more economical, of course, along with maybe some grains, but yeah, your nuts are going to be really sky high price at Whole Foods and still in Amazon. Hopefully might change that. I don't have to go to Whole Foods one of these days to see where they're at. But when I've ever bought canned stuff at Whole Foods, it's always been generally a little bit more expensive. You're probably going to get something similar to that at PCC, although PCC Natural Markets has a lot of bone broth stuff. And some of that stuff is some of the soups, the boxed soups and broths and things. They're going to find the same prices at Whole Foods as you do at PCC, and some of the prices at PCC will be a little bit lower. And again, you have that 10% off discount, if you remember. So, so the grocery section is hit and miss. Some things, I think, again, I'm crazy about those alkalized waters, and as far as you can tell, PCC's prices for some of their waters, vitamin waters, are actually pretty good. I don't know if they're the best. Sometimes, again, Central Market has some deals on their vitamin water and things that are just great. But okay, so going into their meats, I like how PCC. I've been there a bit more to see try to get more of a pattern of what they tend to have, a bit more and how much it is, and I still would say that their meat, poultry, and seafood isn't quite what I'd like it to be, but well, I think a better observation here is Trader Joe's, for instance, seems to have a lot of breakfast sausages, a lot of the German thing, and the little, Bavarian sausage, and a lot of wrapped, pre-made sausages and pre-seasoned stuff, even pre-seasoned meats. And so, yeah, you notice what a lot of the older folks will go to Trader Joe's. One of the reasons why that is because, gosh, they kind of take care of some of that for you. You don't have to spend as much time cooking that stuff. I mean, I know I'm just picturing myself when I get a little bit older. It's gonna be great. It's not as much work, right, to get your main course or get your meat all ready. So that's something that's good about Trader Joe's, I think, for that, kind of those kinds of folks that go there. For Whole Foods, you probably are gonna. I've seen a variety of bacon that Whole Foods has, and all kinds of. Whole Foods is still one of the best places to go for meat and seafood and poultry. It's just that you're gonna pay through the nose to get really, really sky high quality. But seafood in particular, I think, as well as maybe red meat, of course. Sometimes you'll see some good deals, at Whole Foods with their chuck steaks and things. But again, I want to focus more on PCC here. I've found some decent priced tri-tip steaks, for instance, at PCC, and the kinds of cuts that this is for old meat lovers here. The kinds of cuts that I've seen more often at PCC aren't exactly my favorite cuts, but there's one that I do like a lot, which is the tri-tip. So PCC has tri-tip a lot, which is awesome, right? I like it. I love it. And the tri-tip they do have is great quality, great flavor. It's awesome. And again, along with ribeye and chuck steaks, tri-tips are one of my three. So ribeye, tri-tip, chuck steaks. They're still my three favorite cuts. However, PCC also has a lot of sirloin, which is, but sirloin is cheaper, right? It's the next. It's like you have chuck steaks and then you have sirloin. And sirloin, they do have a fair amount of sirloin. They have the rounds, right? But they don't have they're not. You're not saturated with the round steaks, right? The eye round, the ones that get dry out really quickly, and you have to know how to cook them well, marinate them and stuff. Your New York steaks, I think it's I haven't seen. I don't know if it's Porterhouse. Well, there's I think there's New York strip. So PCC has New York strip. I'll try that a little bit more maybe in the future. I don't know what it is. I'm not sure if I'm just not crazy about it. But I've learned via educating myself on meat that when it comes to meat, you want some marbling. So you want some we call it veins of fat, right, or flavor, right? You want those veins going more through the meat, and you want a nice red color, with not cherry red. Sometimes there's some kind of dye that you use to make it look really fresher. And you certainly don't want brown, right? You don't want that grayish brown color. Definitely not. Yeah. But you want kind of that nice meaty red with the little veins of fat marbling. And look for that in meat in general. But that's why ribeye is so good, because ribeye has so much of that marbling. You don't want too much of it. With some cuts of corn-fed ribeye, you can sometimes have so much marbling, and that marbling has that corn flavor, and I know a lot of people like that. But that's not necessarily a very healthy thing for you, or that cow it came from wasn't especially healthy either. So they're very fat and very, kind of thing. Yeah, that's why I feel so heavy. The grass-fed stuff, or the animal welfare rating really high type stuff, the open range grass-fed stuff. Okay, so in a nutshell, the meat section is still kind of a little bit under PCC. It's not quite as great as their vegetables or fruit, but it's actually pretty good. And it's also very organic. You're not going to find anything that's not, it's just really great stuff, really high quality. I have to try their seafood still more. I'm sorry about that. Anything else to mention about PCC? That 10% discount really means that store should, for a lot of folks around here in the North Seattle area, you should really check out PCC. You get at least one of them for 10 months out of 12, and you get 10% off your entire grocery bill for November or December until they change it. That's a great deal. That's a great deal. So if you end up spending a little bit extra for those organics, it essentially comes down to not quite what you would pay for at Albertsons and Safeway for conventional stuff, but you're essentially getting organic, high-quality organic produce that's really, really healthy, has none of that funny stuff, no weird pesticides or wash as much. We're getting all that really fresh, organic, right from the garden, right from the orchard, right from the farm food, right? And you're getting it for a little less, probably most likely, than you would pay for at Whole Foods. And with Trader Joe's, again, I can keep feeling like all their produce is, some of it's pretty good, like the dates, but a lot of it's kind of subpar. And they have an organic section, so Trader Joe's is good to go to if you're really trying to chop on a budget. And honestly, with Trader Joe's, their best stuff is, a lot of their vegetables are great. Their bagged spinach and things, but maybe more of their cucumbers and things. But it's hard to pass up Trader Joe's dates or grapes in season. The Concord grapes are just amazing. And then you get nice cheap onions and potatoes at a lot of places. When it comes to some produce like onions and potatoes, they're always really cheap. Yeah. So definitely check out PCC Natural Markets. Check them out. They're a really great store. All right, I'll catch you guys later. Take care. Bye.